Welcome to Live with the Game Fanatics. This is our weekly podcast where we discuss topics related to video games. This show is recorded live on twitch.tv/thegamefanatics and mixer.com/thegamefanatics every Tuesday night. If you miss us live, catch the episode on youtube.com/thegamefanatics the following Friday. Tonight, my guests are our League of Legends Fanatics staff.
What's up?
The Digi Desperado Tyler.
How's it going, Joel?
Holding it down on mixer.com, Kyle.
Hey, how's it going?
And the man piling up chicken dinners, Logan.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, the player unknown battleground hype.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. I know it's a little bit of a scramble, but we all made it, and now we get to talk about video games. It's going to be pretty fun.
What? Really?
Yeah. Well, what else do we talk about?
Oh boy!
I think that's pretty much all we ever talk about, which is okay. But now we record it so people can listen to it.
Just saying.
We know you play League of Legends.
Taxes.
You know what? I ain't even mad.
All right, guys. Our first topic is going to be something that should be very near and dear to our hearts. So I think it'd be cool to talk about our games that were impactful to us. So not like the most impactful games to the industry. I just mean personally. And I'll go ahead and start so you guys kind of get a feel for it. So for me, probably the game that really started my passion for games altogether was City of Heroes. It was my first MMO. It was the first time I ever really played online with people. And it just really kind of showed me that games have communities, and there's now this living world that you can get sucked into. Man, I used to play it with my cousin and my friend all the time. It was probably, to me, it was the most special game, and it's really hard to recreate that nowadays. We're still looking for that City of Heroes thing.
I feel bad for you, Joel, because City of Heroes, pour one out for City of Heroes, ladies and gentlemen. May it rest in peace.
Oh yeah, it's been gone for a while now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I literally played it at launch, and it was the main reason why I got into PC gaming. It caused me to go and get a graphics card and try to install it myself, which I was able to do on my second try. So it was this weird thing that I got into, and it was subscription based, and it was MMO, which I wasn't really ever used to. I didn't really play RPGs very much, but it was fun, and it was super simple for an MMO, but it was just really fun. I was to me that's the game that really built the passion for me, because I was so dedicated to it, and eventually it kind of fell off, but and now it's dead. But there's still people out there that love this game, and there's still people trying to create that superhero MMO that would take the place of City Heroes.
I remember Champions Online trying, and they tried. They tried.
I really wanted to play City Heroes when I was a kid. I just never had a computer that could play it. It was just one of those games I could never get into. I always wanted to play it though. By the time I had one, it was already dead.
It died. But yeah, to me that was my game. There's other games that have kind of in a way pushed me more into video games, but that was the one that kind of started it all for me. So let's go ahead and go down the line. So Tyler, let's hear from you. What's your game?
Well, in terms of being exposed to an online community MMO experience, my choice, it still is to this day, is RuneScape, but that's pretty freaking niche. But the topic, of course, is games that has had maximum impact on you.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm probably gonna have to go for Shadow of the Colossus on the PS2, because I was always of the mind that video games was just part of my life. Just another thing to keep me kind of distracted, or at least entertained in between the doldrums of life and the like. So I didn't really treat my introduction to video games being that whoa of a thing. It was just, oh, it's a thing with. But then I played Shadow of the Colossus during college after a breakup, and I was too used to the heroic narrative. I was expecting comfort food, and what I got was an emotional punch to the gut that left me to that brought me to tears.
Fair.
So it's a very personal story, but it was one that just shredded me, and I'm like, games can do this to me?
Hashtag relatable.
Yeah, yes, it was one of those, whoa, games can be more than this? I have to let people know. I have to keep doing this. I have to find more of that, whoa, so to speak. So I guess you can kind of call it the origin story of the digital desperado.
I like that.
I never so I played a little bit of Shadow Colossus back in the day, and it was hard for me to get into it. And I just I don't know. As a kid, when that came out, it just wasn't my type of game. And then I went back and replayed the remastered edition that came out on PS3, and I really liked it. It was I liked the environment, the ambient sounds of it. It was really calming. And then when you go and fight an actual Colossus or Colossi, it was nuts.
Colossus is singular, so
Colossus. It was nuts. It blew me away, and I was like, this is insane. I can't believe I missed out on this game.
it feels so satisfying to take one down, and the music and everything, the whole world just feels worn, but also oddly melancholic and bittersweet. Like I said, I was in just the right mindset for maximum punch to the feels, I guess they call it. Which is actually why I am more than hyped for that PS4 remake. I know I'm part of the problem, as some people say, but I pick it up again.
No, I'm hyped for it too.
Yay, I'm not alone!
Yeah, I'll pick it up again.
Well, you know that remake will come out faster than if they were to put together like a brand new game, kind of like Last Guardian. So it's almost like let's just have you guys remaster a game, because we don't have another 15 years.
Bless you, Fumito Ueda, and your team for this experience. Thank you.
Such a game that's worth also like recreating and stuff. Some games are worth it, some games aren't. You just have to analyze which ones you gotta.
It's really difficult to tell what games will last the test of time and still be relevant, and which ones will kind of crumple up. So it is good to always look back at our history and make sure that history is known.
Also, which games will give you the more money from gamers trying to get their childhood back. Let's be honest.
Just to put microtransactions into them, that's so gauche. Looking at you, Phantom Dust.
Well, yeah. You don't want that.
And who can argue with those last words?
Alrighty, let's move on. Steph, what's your game?
Alright, this may be a bit of a shocker, but
League of Legends?
Oh god, no.
I'll shut up.
It's actually Bioshock. And I know that came out 2007, but I actually didn't start playing it until...
No, your mic went silent. Steph? Hello?
To me, when I think video games, I think of being like immersed. I think of just fully absorbing it. And 2012, I went to university. I was at a community college where I knew everybody. 2012, 4 hours away, I went to Eastern Illinois. I knew fucking no one. But I did meet my one closest friend, Maddie, who I saw playing this game. I'm like, alright, I've seen this before, but I love video games, let me play it. Never in my life have I gotten so hooked onto a story as with this. And also,
it's like the controller wasn't even there. You were in rapture, fighting for your life.
I sucked in, and I know it's supposed to be a scary place. You're supposed to hate it, but I wanted to be in it. And Tenenbaum, oh my god, I love her. And also being like a girl gamer, not a quote-unquote girl gamer, people always gave me this like thing like, oh, you only like Mario, you only like all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, if it looks cute, I'm gonna try to play it. I mean, let's.
No need to put on airs, Steph. You're amongst
I'm not going to put on airs if I like something. I'm going to play. But I don't know. I feel like so you're only playing stuff like Call of Duty, so you could be like, oh my god, I'm a girl gamer. Can someone help me? No, this game actually made me feel like powerful in a world that you felt lost, and I don't know, I just kind of really, I guess, truly found myself as a gamer in this, and just as a person. It brought me the strength as I needed to somewhere where I didn't know where I belonged, and this just also introduced me to like Borderlands and all this other stuff, and I keep on playing it over and over again, and I know these lines by heart. I'm not even kidding. But Tenenbaum is a strong woman, and let's point out that the fact is there's no such thing as really good or bad guys. Everyone in Rapture was a bad guy, but some people were just like, let's try to fix it. We're not going to fix our mistakes. We're still horrible people, but which one is the least horrible? And that's kind of like real life, and it kind of hit home. Be just like, yeah, you still do horrible things, but try to fix it. And I don't know, it just really it makes me cry sometimes, even at the end, every single time.
That's very strong, Steph. That is beautiful. No, really, that was great. Hearing that, can we get a little bit of applause for her, because wow.
Bioshock is definitely one of those games that stands out. Is like, even now, like if you go back and play like the remastered edition, it still holds up really well.
Yeah,
and it's just insane.
Can I say something about the remastered? Actually, it's a positive thing.
Go on.
Is that I play again and started from the 360, and it was great. But if you notice in the opening credits of 360, they cut a whole like chunk of that like cutscene off, and you're like, what is this? No, what is this hand? It was very choppy. Obviously, it had its 360, look to it, which actually helped with Rapture. That game was made for that system. I think that's another reason why I love the 360. But that's another story for another day. Remastered, they just cleaned up like the basic stuff, and they just added. They were just like, oh, we kind of like the cutscene was literally cut in like almost two. Let's put the whole thing in here so you know what's really going on. And it was beautifully done. They didn't. Oh, and they also had director cuts in there, which it is spoilers, but try to collect those. And it's.
Oh, I love whenever remasters or whatever put in like developer commentary. I love seeing that. Like, if we're talking about other kind of games of impact, I remember playing the Rogue Squadron games on the GameCube, and I loved that you could unlock developer commentary on each individual mission, so you could hear the thought process behind the level design as you're playing the level.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that.
And just the decision between saving, and I always save. I've never, ever, 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 ever harvested a little sister.
Never seen the bad ending for yourself, then?
I looked on YouTube, that's it, and I cried. I looked at tears. But just that sense of, like, because games kind of give you, like, oh, you're making a decision, but you're really not. They actually let you make a decision. So.
Of course, the morality system, the illusion of choice. We're all kind of used, but Bioshock still made those choices feel meaningful.
Like they were actually your choices, and that just.
What's so?
Yes, Ben, they were fantastic. Thank you, Ben. I love you.
I was just thinking too, like, because you know how Bioshock has the dual wielding in a way, right? Because you got powers in one hand and then gun in the other. I felt like even, like, it's older than Skyrim, and to me it still felt better.
Well, you know what? I could easily be that kind of jerk and say, well, technically Bioshock is a revisitation of System Shock 2 and
I swear to God, you mentioned that one more.
No, trust me, I know friends who do that to me all the time, and they are annoying.
Ben, I actually have been told to play Prey because my best friend Trevor, he played it. Which he's like, these fuckers are on the spaceship now, and I'm about to shoot someone. And when the mention, he said, oh, it has a Bioshock feel. Sold. Done. That's it. You just have to tell me that it has a Bioshock feel.
It's funny you bring that up because I've actually been playing through Prey myself, and I'm not gonna lie, my buddy who's a big System Shock fanboy, he got into it as well. And it's funny, like, people say it's like Bioshock, he's playing it, it's like, wow, it feels like System Shock 2. and then he's been hitting against the difficulty wall, so it's kind of entertaining to see us on even ground again.
Mr. Levine, or however you pronounce his name, I always butcher it.
Ken Levine, that's how I pronounce it.
Levine. That sounds better. But he was a part of the whole System Shock thing, and it is basically that, but it's not System Shock. And if you play, I'm not going to ruin it, but they do talk about that in one of the director's things. If they do have a contemplation of that on YouTube, you could just look that up, or you could just buy the game and, you know.
I'm still going through my playthrough, and dear gosh, it's busting my chops.
I've defeated Survivor 3 times.
Fun fact about that remaster.
Oh yeah, they're all good.
Is that I returned No Man's Sky digitally and bought the remaster for that, so that was a good purchase.
Jeez.
I'm loving everyone today. But yeah,
So you returned the demo and got a game.
Yeah, I got 3 games, basically.
Shots fired!
Yeah, that's my main thing with Bioshock. At first, it's when people ask me, why the hell do you love this series so much? At first, I was like, my biggest thing is, I just don't know. It just speaks to me. But when you look into it, that's why. But sometimes the best games that speak to us, that make us cry every time we play it, sometimes there is no reason to. So.
Sometimes it just gets you right in that particular part of your lizard brain that just makes you empathize so hard, or feel so much.
It just does such a great job of sucking you in and making you, I don't know, experience this whole world. And it's tragic, it's kind of freaky, but then it's also exciting. And you just want to get deeper and deeper into what's going on, and then the big daddies add that holy shit
and it's so heady as well. I mean, for a lot of people, this was kind of the wake up call to gaming narratives could be more complex. Seriously, if you just look at it from a metaphorical perspective, the entire plot of Bioshock is what happens when you take Randian objectivism and take it to its logical extreme in an isolated environment. The answer: chaos.
And actually, I did read the Bioshock book that Joel even mentioned 2 weeks ago. I've read that a bunch of times. It's the prequel of it. It actually was quite good. I enjoyed it.
The prequel, I think I saw it somewhere in a bookstore. It's basically the story of how Andrew Ryan built Rapture, right?
Built Rapture, about Bill McDough and all this other stuff. You get to know the characters, and again, I'm a huge character person.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's good.
Such
Rapture
a good book.
is just the most tragically beautiful thing you'd ever get into, and you just can't put it down.
All right,
It
so
raptures you. Oh, I think I used that term last week.
We're done.
All right, so that's the end of the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks a lot, Steph. You ate up all of our time.
No, it's fine. I'm just watching this Bioshock clip, and I'm just go on.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to Kyle.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go a little bit further back. A game that kind of redefined gaming for me, and made me think about it differently, was probably Silent Hill 2. I played Silent Hill when I was in '99 on PS1, but I was a little young. I guess 2 years later, Silent Hill 2 came out, but it just felt
wrong clip.
It just felt a little different. Stories could be weirder and stranger, and games could be scary. Resident Evil never really scared me, but Silent Hill, it freaked me out. Silent Hill 2 was just all over the place, and it came at me at a right time in my life. I was huge into David Lynch and all that stuff, so it was
I know the clip. I know the clip in the background. I didn't have Kyle's impactful game to find footage for it, so I just put
I didn't know
Ben's.
Link was in Silent Hill.
I watched the Silent Hill speed run during SGDQ, and it's nuts how I feel that game, even though how old it is, it still in a way kind of holds up if you have it on PC, but it just looked creepy as hell. And man, it's so weird when you look at games like that don't really hold your hand. They just kind of you go and explore, and at the same time you got this whole creepy feeling to it. And it was, I don't know, it's pretty sweet. I was enjoying that speed run.
like, and the monsters are so creative. It's not like Resident Evil. I loved Resident Evil, but it was all zombies and tyrants and all that stuff. And the monsters are just so weird. Like I remember watching an
And
interview
creepy.
with one of like the developers, and he said like he just has these nightmares, and that's how he develops these creatures. He just remembers them from his dreams, and I was like, that's just the weirdest thing.
Such screwed up dreams.
I actually follow Masahiro Ito on Twitter, and he occasionally puts out like concept art of stuff he worked on, and his stuff still looks really unnerving and unsettling. It's very disgusting industrial body horror stuff, and I'm like, the nightmares apparently never stop for him.
Yeah, and I love that body horror thing. I love that, like Cronenberg, like all that stuff. It's just like that's just my thing. So,
well, it's kind of funny you brought up Silent Hill 2 because I kind of have two tangents with it. I did try Silent Hill 2 the first time because of Reputation, and I actually got stuck. I actually got stuck in the hotel room, the first area when you go into Silent Hill proper, because I didn't figure out you had to use the case of orange juice to dislodge something in the garbage chute. And I remember just running around freaking out just because of how oppressively disturbing the sound design was and the environment design was. Like nothing was killing me. Like I beat everything to death already with like a ply board, and I'm just like, get me out of here, get me out of here, I need to get out of here, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, like in the soundtrack was just so amazing. I don't know. I think that the theme song just holds up today. Like everything about the soundtrack and the characters.
And the atmosphere of that song.
And the atmosphere is amazing. Like all the characters are so like morbid and just like depressing, and even the cheesy dialogue I kind of liked.
For me, it's always like this.
Yeah. And I like that you can play the whole game and get an ending where it turns out that a dog was just running everything from a computer room.
The best joke ending ever.
And then the barking song at the end is just fantastic.
Holy crap, I never heard of that. That's freaking funny.
Oh, really? I'll link it in the chat.
Yeah, there's like a joke ending where if you do certain things right, the game like stops before you get to what's supposed to be the climax of the game, and you find and James Sunderland's basically walks into like a room and he finds out the entire game has been perpetuated by a talking dog that's part of an alien spaceship, and he's like, oh, hello.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And Silent Hill 1 had the aliens, but this was just next level.
But I feel bad because the first time I ever actually finished Silent Hill 2, I got the basic good ending. It was unfortunately me playing the Silent Hill HD collection, the PS3 version nonetheless. And it's depressing because due to it being a terrible remaster with terrible missing environmental effects, it lessened the atmosphere enough for me to push through and finish it.
Yeah, it's like, that was so depressing for me, to be honest.
I have no shame.
I was waiting for the Silent Hill 2 remaster, and it was just like, the Silent Hill 2 one was okay. Silent Hill 3 was brutal. They made it like lighter looking and like more HD, and it wasn't as like rustic.
They messed up so much. They messed up so much in Silent Hill 2 as well. So I actually have a PS2 copy and an old PS2. And I occasionally try to get through that as well, and it's night and day.
Yeah, no, it's like they lightened it up and softened everything. It kind of just feels not as dirty, I guess is the word, because Silent Hill has always felt like grody and gross.
It's supposed to make you feel like you're in a nightmare that slowly overtakes you, and a lot of that is subtle, and they really didn't know what they were doing. And I doubt we're ever going to get a full Legacy remaster anymore. I mean, unless you like patch slot machines.
And I always thought that the ending, like the twist, was just so crazy. Like at the time, it wasn't really done in any games. I don't know if I guess I could spoil it, but
statute of limitations, man. The game's been out for like 13 years.
So, at this point.
So basically, the end of the game is just like he killed his wife, and like everything's a manifestation of his guilt.
Spoilers.
His wife, and essentially Pyramid Head is unique to him because it's like a manifestation of guilt and remorse and all that stuff. And that was just like so different than anything on PS2.
It was a very dark story about the horrors of the human mind, which there really wasn't much else out at the time, and I don't really think a whole lot has tried to recapture that. I mean, there are plenty of horror games out there now that tackle that sort of stuff, but Silent Hill 2 I think is kind of like the trailblazer. So
and it did it so well. Like Manhunt 2 and stuff like that does the whole like psychosis thing, and it doesn't really work as well. But Silent Hill 2 just did it. It was great. Still holds up, I think, to this day.
Boom.
Not the remaster, but.
All right, Logan, you're on the books.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah, so, when we talk about a game that's influential, going from a game you're just sitting down to an experience and a memory, and the way that it changes how you play games or how you view a series or something like that. And so I decided that, the game that was most impactful for me was indeed, and I kind of took this from Ben, but I was thinking about, was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Hey, my clip matches.
That's where the clip's from. Okay.
And the reason was, it wasn't my first Zelda, like many people at the time. I was playing Link's Awakening on my Game Boy. That was my very first Legend of Zelda. I got it through a trade at school with a friend at elementary school, and I played the crap out of it. It was a drug deal. We were trading Pokemon cards. We were trading video games. It's just how I went down in elementary.
The hell of a drug.
Hey, man, you got some Blaine's Arcanines? I got some stuff for you for it.
I got the stuff. He's itching.
It's holographic.
Hey, man, you got those first editions?
Not for you.
Damn.
I've always wanted to get in, like, the only Zelda I've ever been able to get into, and this is sad, mostly the ones on DS, and then A Link to the Past. They were like the only ones I could really get into. I had a hard time getting into Ocarina of Time, and I even got like the DS version, and same thing, had a hard time getting into it. And I tried.
Got into it later.
Was it the style?
No, but even when it came out, no, it wasn't even the style. I just think that it was at that age, it was probably just beyond my capacity.
Yeah.
Just because I was a simple person, still am, but like A Link to the Past, a little bit different, and like the ones on Game Boy Color, I got into, and I really liked like even though people don't like them, I liked Spirit Tracks, and what was the other one? The one in the ocean.
Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah.
Oh, Wind Waker.
Oh yeah, and I love Phantom Hourglass. That one was good too. And that, I mean, I just couldn't get into Ocarina of Time, and I know it's like the best one, so I'm like, inside I'm like dying, because like, God, I really want to get into it, and I just have a hard time. And
well, I mean, if you're not into it, then you're not into it.
Yeah.
You have to force yourself into that.
Yeah. Well, it's just like it's like the people that, it's almost like if I were to only like, God, I'm having a hard time comparing it to something, but most people like Ocarina of Time, and they hold it over as like one of the best Zelda games besides Breath of the Wild, which now kind of takes over. But I just had a hard time getting into it. No,
I really want to say something, but I really do want to say something, but nostalgia is kind of overtaking me, because I was one of those guys that Ocarina of Time was his first Zelda. I went back and played the classics, but it was my introduction to the series as well, so I'm a little bit biased, but I really am curious what exactly stopped you from getting into it. Was it due to your experience with console gaming, or was it the introduction to 3D, or what was it? What do you think it was? Because for me, it turned me off because it was my first big 3D game, and depth perception. Like seriously, people don't tend to forget this, but just being able to move around in 3D space in gaming is.
I hate Mario 64.
Bingo.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, no, seriously, the first time I played Mario 64, I got sick to my freaking stomach trying to play it because of the extra depth of dimension. That disorients you. And for some people, that is a sort of hurdle they can't get over. So when exactly did you try playing this?
I don't remember when I know I played it when it came out on N64, and then the next time was on my DS, and I mean, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. It's probably just like a mental block of some sort.
My dog with the thunder beard.
All right.
But Steph's down.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've tried playing it. I'm sure I'm sure I'd be able to get into like Breath of the Wild, and it could be just maybe like graphics reasons why I couldn't get into it on DS. I had a hard time with it.
You disgust me.
Well, that's the thing is I've been spoiled. My eyes have been spoiled, and so
It
sometimes
looks so good. The remaster on 3DS.
It does look really good. I don't know. Maybe I just need to sit down and play it. I was probably playing too many games at the time, and that's kind of the problem. If I'm sitting here playing like Persona 5 and Horizon, and then trying to play Ocarina of Time when I'm like going to bed or something like that, it kind of
makes those other games.
Yeah.
Look like
So
You're part of the problem.
Yeah.
You're part of the problem. You're why everybody's demanding 4K resolution instead of consistent 60 frames per second. You're part of the problem. You.
Hey, I like good flow, but also now I haven't given up on it. I still own the game.
Yeah, no.
You'll get to it. You'll get to
I'll
it.
get to it.
But the reason
when I'm 80.
why Ocarina of Time is the most influential game is because when I actually got the cartridge and put it into my 64 and like was transported to this huge 3D world, this huge adventure, like it blew me away. And I replayed it like the crap out of it. And I never had an experience like that. And like the Nintendo 64 was my first major console.
It was your Lord of the Rings, so to speak.
It was my Lord of the Rings.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
And Lord of the Rings is my Lord of the Rings. But
I know what you mean, man. The Zelda series was that
So
for me
good.
as well. My sort of Lord of the Rings, this big adventure epic.
Yeah, honestly,
Exactly.
Ocarina of Time was amazing for me. I played it so much when I was a kid. I kind of like feel closer to Majora's Mask, but they're both at the same level for me personally. I know that's a bit of a controversy for you, but
well, Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda
I love Majora's
game
Mask.
of all time. But
Yeah.
I was saying
I'll
Ocarina of
never
Time was
understand.
influential.
I
Yeah,
will
that-
never
that makes
understand
sense.
why people don't like
Yeah.
it.
The moon.
The moon hates you.
That moon is the place of my nightmares. It's like it'll just. No, seriously, I'll just have a dream where everything's fine. That I'll look up, moon.
But my love of Zelda continues today, and like I'm surrounded by Zelda figures on my desk and Zelda hats and Zelda games around me. Like it's
Body
a
pillows.
huge,
or is that
huge.
just
We don't
Body
talk
pillow-
about. You leave
a
my
body-
waifu out of this.
yeah.
Waifu, nothing. I got a body pillow of Prince Sidon.
No,
All right, show's over.
That's all.
We need to get Tyler some help.
That was our series finale of the Game Finesse podcast.
Now we move on to therapy with the game finale.
Yeah, we might need to.
Our new show.
He's my fishy husband. Leave me alone.
Oh my
It's fine. Hey,
gosh.
do what you gotta do. Do you? You do you.
Ben
very
has a
first
kink
time.
for the moon's nose, by the way.
Oh,
Likes to be inside it.
No, I do agree that Ocarina of Time is probably most influential for even it influenced me a
Even
lot.
video games in general.
Yeah, in general, and it's one of the most memorable games that I can think of.
For sure.
Just for some reason, I hold Majora's Mask as like the better Zelda, but they're both so good. That it's just like, yeah,
I feel like Majora's Mask is just overshadowed by Ocarina of Time.
and it has such.
Yeah, it's that damn mood.
I just kind of.
A lot of people got turned off. I know a lot of people got turned off by the time rewinding mechanic. People, I remember distinctly, like in middle school, people were like, "It sucks. It's stupid. You only got 3 days to save the world." But I'm like, but you have a time traveling ocarina. Like that's
Yeah.
dumb.
get
That
it.
makes no sense.
And you can slow down time with you have a song that slows down time, so it's like.
I think this is kind of why I kind of immediately grabbed onto stuff like Doctor Who or crazy time travel sci-fi. I'm like, why not? Time travel's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. So moving on.
okay. So moving on. So we covered the games that impacted us the most. So, I guess like I kind of want to evolve that for the next topic. I was gonna say let's cover what games we're most excited for, but I think we could do a whole episode on that. So
Pace yourselves.
So I guess for me, like those impactful feelings that you got from that game, have you guys tried to recreate that with anything else?
Recreate the impact of.
That feeling that you got and all that stuff.
Yeah, like have you been searching have you been searching for something to
Every
make?
single
Yeah.
day.
Okay.
I found it, but
Yes, I'm waiting for that good Silent Hill game. It hasn't came yet. I'm still waiting.
Oh no.
Well, I can say that when it comes to any kind of experience that
sorry, go on.
That wasn't really a game though. It was like a
Yeah, but it was
trailer.
gonna.
damn right it was a damn game. yeah, I'm gonna be that guy that's gonna say it's a damn game. But I would say every single time I play a good like RPG or even any kind of adventure that kind of slaps the player upside the head and kind of says, "Hey man, you're not hot shit. I pay attention," or at least they make you earn it, which is usually why I enjoy RPGs. You know, that slow boil build up, or an experience that tries to find a way to kind of shake up the status quo of empowerment fantasy. Nothing wrong with that. It's just whenever they do something that shows a more even-handed, level-handed approach to it, I pay attention. Like The Witcher 3 is a fantastic example of this. I loved The Witcher 3 because the whole plot is some crazy nonsense about, you know, interdimensional travelers and pan-dimensional elves and the end of the world coming. But you're still playing as basically a low-end monster hunter for hire, and you just kind of get thrown into the middle of it. You're not the chosen one. You're not some guy meant to save the world. No. That's your daughter figure. That's your surrogate daughter. So it's more of a thing. You have to go find her instead of. it was those little changes, and the finale still gets tears out of me. I've played through the entire game twice. One of them on Death March difficulty, and that
Jesus.
No, yeah, I finished it on Death March. I am that maniac, and the final hour, even though I know it's coming, and even though I know I did all the things to make the best ending happen, I still tear up, and I keep thinking, "Oh God, please don't let this happen again." No. And I'll wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't give a shit.
You gotta.
But yeah, it's those experiences that really get me, and I'm kind of a hard-stoned person. Like, I don't really wear my emotion on my sleeve too often, but sometimes there's that thing that just breaks down the wall, and every time that sort of experience happens, I give it great praise.
So that's why you have the body pillow, because when a game beats the shit out of you, you sign off and then you go and give it a big hug.
Yeah, I do.
It's okay, Sedan. It's okay.